Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, where we'll discuss the power of review generation and marketing. I'm Janelle Johnson, VP of Demand Gen at BirdEye. When choosing a healthcare provider, 84% of patients consult online reviews, and 94% would consider one similarly qualified doctor over another due to having more reviews. This leaves many healthcare providers struggling to figure out how to easily get new reviews and how to manage their online reputation. Those are just a few of the points we'll cover in today's 45-minute presentation. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded, and we'll share this with all registrants within 48 hours of the event. Also, we will have a bit of time at the end of the session to take questions. Submit any that you have via the Q&A tab. And now, without further ado, I'm excited to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Len Tau. Dr. Tau maintains a full-time practice in Northeast Philadelphia, focusing on general, cosmetic, reconstructive, and implant dentistry. He received his dental degree from Tufts University School of Dental Medicine and certificate in advanced education in general dentistry at UMDNJ. He is an active member of many dental organizations and is the sponsorship chairman for the Eastern Dental Society. When he is not practicing, Dr. Tau is owner of iSocial Digital and general manager of the dental vertical for BirdEye Reputation Marketing Software. He is the author of Reputation Matters blog and has been published in Dental Town, American Academy of Cosmetic Orthodontics, Dentistry Today, Inside Dentistry, and various other newsletters. He lectures nationally and internationally to fellow dentists on internet marketing, social media, and reputation marketing. Welcome, Dr. Tau.
Thanks, Janelle. I appreciate it. And I look forward to spending my time here and teaching everybody about the power of reviews. I like to start off by just pointing out that marketing really takes a day to learn, and unfortunately takes a lifetime to master. But we only have about 45 minutes for this, and I like to spend a lot more time normally, but we limit these to 45 minutes. So I'm going to go kind of fast. I'm originally from New York, so this is a fast segment. I'm going to try to cover a lot of material because it is important. And I do like to just bring up kind of how I got started in this and a little bit about my background. In 2007, I purchased my practice, the Pennsylvania Center for Dental Excellence. This is my office. I am in a strip mall in Northeast Philadelphia. I bought my practice from a dentist who had passed away. It was a great practice, high quality practice, a fee-for-service practice. And he was heavy in marketing. And I was told to, go in and remarket it and go in and try all this traditional marketing. I didn't do that. And everybody was very envious of my location. I had a great, awesome location. I was at a very busy intersection. And everybody told me to go ahead and do yellow pages and billboards. And I didn't do those. I was an internet guy. I loved the internet. I love computers. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go and dominate online. And this was my location I wanted to be at. I wanted to be on the first page of Google. And I had the inkling to go ahead and be at the top of Google. I said, you know what, if location for me is being at the top of the search. So you'll see here on the left-hand side is a Philadelphia Invisalign search. And these are older searches. These are not new searches. They look very differently now. And I'll show you what they look like now. But when we did a search for Philadelphia Invisalign, there I am at a paid ad at the top. And this was what Google used to look like. There used to be 7 doctors, A through G at the top. And there I was at the top, 124 Google reviews. This is probably 2 years ago. No, 3 years ago almost. Now when you do a search, you see 3 dentists up there. We call this the snack pack. 3 dentists. This is dentist and my zip code in Philadelphia. And I was ranked number 1 with 203 Google reviews. Right now I have about 213, 214 as of today. But what reviews do for you is they make you stand out. They make you more visible. They make you more credible online to both Google and people searching for you. And that's what we want to do here for you. This is an Invisalign Philadelphia search. And there I am ranked 2nd in the entire city of Philadelphia. This, again, brings new patients into your practice. And that's what we're going to be doing for you. That's what we want to do for you, is bring patients in get the phone ring, get more business into your practice. So fitting in is short-term strategy, standing out pays off in the long run. And that was said by Seth Godin. And so I want you to be like Apple. I'm a big Apple person. I use Apple iPhone. I have MacBook Pros. I love Apple products. So I want you to think differently. But also remember that Rome wasn't built in a day, and things do take time. It isn't like you're going to snap your fingers and have, huge success. It does take some time. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. So it does take some time for this to actually develop online. So I want to welcome you to reputation marketing, which I believe is the most important way you can market your business. I don't think there's anything more that you need to start with online. If you're doing other things online, stop, focus your attention on reputation marketing, because it will make anything else you're doing more effective. So what is reputation marketing? Well, the definition online is the field of evolving of the fields of reputation management, which is a really old term. So if any company calls you on the phone and says, we're going to do reputation management, I don't love that term, because reputation management is taking negative reviews off the first page. I love reputation marketing, okay? We're going to take your 5-star reputation and get more patients, market it, and get more patients to call your office, okay? It's that and brand marketing. That's what reputation marketing is. So I want to tell you that over the past 5 years, and we track these numbers, that over 800 patients have called and mentioned they chose my office because of my online reputation. That's what literally patients have called and said that. And we track that. So I mentioned that you should, really focus on reputation marketing, because it makes everything you're doing, paid search, which is, Google AdWords, organic search, which is SEO, search engine optimization, display advertising, which is basically remarketing using AdWords, and social media. It makes everything you're doing a lot more effective. Okay, it turns that stuff and enhances its performance. So, and 90% of consumers believe online reviews, which impacts conversions, conversations, and factors into organic search ranking, excuse me. So I want you to focus on reputation before you're spending money on paid search or anything else. It will make it so much more effective. So no other social media channel is as influential as online reviews. And as Warren Buffett says, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. But on the internet, it actually can lose it in a nanosecond. You can lose your reputation that quickly online. And as Ben Franklin said way back when, it takes many good deeds to build a good reputation and only one bad one to lose it. And many brands and business owners are put off by online reviews, given that their channel appears to be on their control. But guess what? Now you can take back some of that control. So, and as Jeff Bezos says, if you make customers unhappy in the physical world, they may tell 6 friends. But if you make customers unhappy on the internet, they can tell 6,000 friends. And that's something you have to be careful with. Today, everyone is a publisher. Reviews drive business, and a great reputation equals more money. But there's no such thing as reputation repair kit. So when I speak to dentists, I speak to probably 10 to 15 dentists every single week. Okay, they always want to focus on these sites out there. They want to get focused on Google. They want to focus on Facebook. A lot of people want to focus on Yelp, Health Grades, and if you're in Canada, you want to focus on RateMDs. Those are the sites that you want to focus on. Okay, anything else, not many people go to, but this is where traffic goes. You want to put reviews on these sites. So I want to spend a few minutes talking about why reputation is so important. There was a survey done in 2016. I'm waiting for the 2017 survey to be done, which will be done in September. But these are 16 results by Bright Local. They interviewed about 30,000 people, so it's a really strong survey. And these are some amazing statistics. So which of these business types have you read online reviews for? So you'll see 31% read on medical and healthcare, so dentists are included in that, 31%. When judging a local business type, which of these factors do you pay most attention to? You'll see that 60% overall star rating and 44% quantity of reviews. Really strong information there. For a local business, how recent, how current does a review have to be to impact your decision? And you'll see that 73% of consumers think that reviews older than 3 months aren't relevant. Older than 3 months. And 22% of consumers will only consider reviews that were written in the last 2 weeks. So you need current, fresh reviews. If they're older, patients may not consider them, or potential patients may not consider them relevant anymore. That's not good. So how do online customer reviews affect your opinion of a local business? 68% think positive reviews make them trust the business more. And when people trust you, they buy from you. They make that conversion of someone who's just interested to buying from you much, much easier. 68%. Again, really strong data here. Do you trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations? 84% of people trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. 84%. Again, huge data points here. If you use rating filters when using search for information, what is a star rating that you trust the most? And look at that, 4 stars, not even 5 stars, which means you don't want perfect reviews online. So I get people to comment to me, I don't want any negative reviews, and I disagree with that. So I have about 1,700 reviews online about my business over the last 10 years, 1,700. And I have about 81 negatives, and it drives a ton of business to my practice. So I don't want you to focus on just 5-star reviews. If you got a 4-star review, not bad. If you got a 1-star review, don't sweat the small stuff. I think it's good for business. This is which star rating actually earns the most clicks on the local pack. So 69% are 5 stars and 59% are 4 stars. Okay, so again, not much different between those two clicks. When you have 3 stars, not so much, and 1 or 2 stars, less clicks. Okay, so not so good there. How do users pick a business from Google's local pack? Well, 56% picked the business because it has positive star ratings. Okay, 10% like the business name. So, but 56 positive reviews. And this is the best one. For which of the following business types does reputation matter the most when choosing a business? In second was medical and healthcare again, 45%. So this is why reputation is huge for dentists and doctors. And then after being referred a business, what do the consumers do next? And again, this is huge. In the past, when someone was referred to your practice, they just called your office. Now, 87% actually search online to find information about your business. And that 87% actually 52% look online for reviews and ratings. This is why you have to be doing this. If you're not, you're missing a huge, huge opportunity here. But you have to be proactive. You can't be reactive. And I talk to dentists, like I said, all the time, and some of them have 8 or 10 negative reviews before they even reach out to us. So I think the first 10 reviews you collect, I call them prophylactic reviews. They protect you against a bad review. So I don't want you to be reactive. I want you to be proactive and plan ahead. So I want to focus the content part of this on the 3 steps to online reputation-based marketing. And there are 3 steps to that. Step 1 is being found and what's involved with that. Being found in a compelling way, and then monitoring and protecting your online reputation. So step 1 is being found. And let's talk about what's included in that. So this is involved the evaluating and claiming your local citations. And a lot of people wonder what that is, and it's not getting a ticket. I can assure you of that. So what is a citation? So a citation is a mention of your business name and address on other web pages, and there's not necessarily a link to your website, okay? It's normally done through a registration process, but what's been happening lately is a lot of these sites just kind of crop up on their own with wrong information about your practice. But here's the kicker of it all, is that Google's in a process of trusting these sites. And if your information is not consistent on these sites, Google doesn't trust you. And it doesn't rank you high enough on the search engines. But if you are consistent, Google actually trusts your listing and ranks you higher. This is a very important part of become visible and credible online, is you need consistent listings, okay? So as you notice here, all of these sites all point to Google Local. So all of these sites are considered citations. But again, they all have to have consistent information on it. And you all want to be in what we call the circle of trust. You don't want to be like Gaylord Fokker, so you have to be in that circle of trust. But there are some rules. So the biggest rule is that the NAP, called the name, the address, and phone number, must be exactly the same on each site in order for Google to recognize it. So consider this. Are you at street or ST, Louisiana or LA? A lot of dentists have suite numbers. Is it suite or STE, the and or the and sign, Inc. or incorporated? All of them should be consistent across all the different sites. If not consistent. The more consistent you are, the more Google recognizes your listing. And these are considered some of the top citation sources for dentists: Yelp, Yellow Pages, YouTube, Health Grades, Super Pages, Dex Knows, Dr. Google, Yahoo, Facebook, and Angie's List. So people say to me, well, how do I know which ones are most important? And I say, well, the way you do it is go do a Google search for yourself. Type in your name or your business name, and then see. I guarantee 3 or 4 of these are going to be always on page 1 for your business. And those are ones that are most important for you. So usually they are at least 3 or 4. Okay, Yelp and Yellow Pages, Health Grades, and probably Yahoo and Facebook are always on page 1. So those are the ones I would focus on. But how do you claim all of these sites? Okay, well, you don't. This is not a do-it-yourself job. It's just too difficult to have an employee in your office go on each site, manually claim it, put all the consistent information in there, because I'm telling you at some point it's going to change or it's going to get screwed up. You need to have a company handle this. A lot of it's automated. This is something that BirdEye does handle for you as part of our service offerings, but there's plenty of other services out there that do it as well. I mean, obviously, Google is a very important company out there. I mean, it's always what we call the 800-pound gorilla in the room. This is what I call prehistoric Googling. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the importance of Google. When Google talks, we need to listen. A number of years ago, they mentioned, you needed to have a mobile site. Everybody had to get a mobile site. If you didn't have a mobile site, they would kind of not rank you. Well, now they want you to respond to reviews. You know what? Start responding to reviews. There's only so much stuff on page 1 of Google that's available to you. There's so much AdWords right now. There's only 3 map rankings anymore. There's only so much organic space. If you want to get there on those maps, you've got to do a number of things. So Google search is, in essence, in my opinion, your homepage. It tells people your phone number, your location, your website, the complaints about you, your reviews. It basically equals your reputation, in my opinion, Google search itself. So I'm going to go over the 5 most important things that Google considers critical for good local rankings. Okay, and this, I happen to know some people who work for Google, and we've gone over this a number of times, so I share this with a lot of the people I speak with. So number 1 is your Google Plus business page has to actually match the category, and business name must be there. Now, I can tell you this, that you all have this. I wouldn't worry about this. Everybody has this. Your Google Plus business page must be merged with your website. Everybody has this. Don't worry about number 1. Okay. Number 2, not everybody has. You must have reviews on your Google Plus business page or your Google My Business page. Same thing. Okay. And here's the reason why. Google loves unique, fresh content. Every single review that you have is unique to your practice, unless they write, great experience. Every single one is unique. Okay. So when someone comes in and says, I had the best Invisalign experience at Dr. Jim's office, you have to go there. That's unique to your practice. Okay. Those keywords help you rank higher. I rank high for Invisalign because people talk about Invisalign in my office. So unique keywords are great in reviews. Okay. And it builds this automatic trust. 80% of consumers look online for reviews. So unique content is great from reviews. So you must have reviews. Number 3, Google wants you to promote your business page on Facebook. So Google's looking for something more. Okay, it's called social validation. They want you to be socially validated on all these different social sites. So promote your Google Plus on your website on Facebook. Number 4, Google wants you to have videos. They own YouTube. They want you to have videos on YouTube. Okay, so I want you to have videos. So what can you do in videos? You can have testimonials. You can have how-to videos. They can be embedded on your website. They can be embedded on your social media channels. So make YouTube videos, get HIPAA, get consent from your patients, but put videos on YouTube. And number 5, Google wants you to have reviews from other local directories, Yelp, Yellow Pages. It creates this circle of trust, as we called it. And again, you want to claim these listings as well for these citations. So when you do those things, you will certainly stand out on Google. You'll get ranked higher as well. Again, these are critical for good local rankings. If you don't do these things, you're going to be somewhat invisible on these local searches. Okay? So your Google My Business listing is critical for local search, so you want to make sure it's claimed. Rankings are heavily consistent on number of reviews and consistent name, address, and phone number. So when I'm speaking to dentists, if I see a lot of reviews and they're not ranking highly on maps, normally they have inconsistent name, address, and phone number. They usually go hand in hand, okay? But as you know, obtaining reviews in Google can be difficult manually. So let's spend some time talking about that. How do we get found in a compelling way? Okay, so that's step 2, being found in a compelling way. So let's talk about 3 dental offices, okay? So let's talk about that. So we have 3 businesses, one with no reviews, one with 4 good reviews and 2 bad reviews, and one with 5 5-star reviews, okay? Which one are you going to choose? Now, in general, when I do this in live in my seminars, I ask the audience, nobody picks service B. You have a few that picks service A, and a lot of people pick service C. So you want to have as many 5 5-star reviews as possible, okay? What I believe intermixed a couple of bad reviews, in my opinion, like I told you already. But you don't want to have no reviews. No reviews, you're going to have a lot of hard time affecting that or getting those patients to come in your office. So you want to be able to generate reviews. So the secret is patient reviews are now one of the biggest factors in local search results. So there are certain rules that Google wants you to have. They want you to have a certain regularity, a certain velocity, at least a couple a week, in my opinion. You want them to be recent, definitely within 2 months, I think even sooner than that. And you want to have a higher star rating, somewhere between 4 and 5 stars. If you're anywhere, I think a perfect score is 4.5 to 4.7 stars on Google. 5, I think, is too high if you have hundreds of reviews. When you're getting in the 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 range, I think that's getting a little low. So I think 4.5, 4.6, 4.7 is absolutely perfect. I don't think you need anything more than that. So the point is, you must collect reviews from your happy patients. That's an absolute must. But I don't want you to ask for a review. I want you to ask for feedback. I think that's a very important. I think, when I used to ask for a review, it sounds like you're begging for something. Asking for feedback just sounds better. And that's what we do when it comes to our BirdEye software. So let's talk about the old ways you used to ask for reviews, or you can ask for reviews. So when I did this, I used to hand them cards, and the cards had what's called a QR code on there, and nobody uses QR codes anymore. It's just very old technology. Or you would hand them a card, how did we do today? You would hand them a card, leave us a review here. Nobody used it. Nobody did it. Or you had a card here. This is a dentist in South Tampa, and it would log into your computer. It actually told them to turn it on and go to this place, which is a clickable link. Click on the pencil icon, review our office, and it just doesn't work. Or you can use some of these software programs, Demandforce, Lighthouse, Solution Reach. They're all great communication software, but they don't really get reviews. They go to their own microsites. They don't go to the sites that matter, and that's a big, big difference. So why don't patients leave reviews for you when they have opportunities to? And these are some reasons, because I've asked my patients before, and I've asked doctors what they've heard from their patients. So these are some of the reasons. So they don't have time. They forget. There's too many steps involved. They leave the office. It's out of sight, out of mind. They don't know what to write. They have no idea what to write. The patients don't know. They don't know how to do it. These are some of the excuses you're going to hear from your patients. So we want to make it as very easy for you. And the other reason is, the biggest reason I think, is life happens. They go home and life is there. It just happens. So, out with the old, in with the new. I want you to stop doing it the old way, and do it the new way. And that new way I like to call is BirdEye. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes with you talking about how we do it here at BirdEye. So we are nicely integrated with most practice management softwares. I would tell you that we're about 98% integrated. There are very few softwares that we don't integrate with. Here's the majority of the more popular ones that we do integrate with, but there's very few that we don't. So you can give us an email or call us and we can let you know, but most of them we do integrate with. And we focus on sending our patients a text message rather than an email, because as you can see, this is one of my patients. He had 94,000 unread emails. There's no way he's opening up your email you're going to send him, okay? And he has 3 unopened text messages. And I can tell you personally, from me being a user of our software for 3 years, my email open rate's about 2%. My text message open rate's about 50% at this point. So we have a much greater open rate from a text message, okay? That's a huge differentiation there. So this is the text message that I send my patients, and my logo's in it. We actually send an MMS, not an SMS, because we have our logo in it. And we ask for feedback about the patient's experience. Please tell us about your experience. So when the patient leaves the office, I say to them, hi, Mary, thanks for coming in today. I hope you had a great experience. Just so you know, you may be receiving a text message from our office asking for feedback about your experience. And we look forward to reading what you have to say. That's what we say to them. Why do I say we may? Because we usually default our service to only send the message out once every 30 days, okay? Because we don't want to over bombard them with messaging. And that's what we usually default to. Now, the patient knows they're going to get something. They know that you want to read it. They're more apt to do it. So when the patient clicks on the text message, it says, how was your experience at our office? Great or below expectations. And this page is fully customizable. If they hit below expectations, it's a negative response. So we say, we apologize that your experience did not meet your expectations. Please tell us how we can improve. They write their experience, and that comes right back to the office, and you can deal with the issue and call the patient and apologize. Okay? So this is called our sentiment screening. So we want to screen out negatives to go back to you. Our positives, though, and we'll start with the Android phone, we send our Android users straight to Google because they have an Android phones have Google and a Google account built into their phone. So we open up your Google page and we send them straight to Google to write a Google review in one step on their phone. This isn't a two-step process. We've already screened it right to Google, no questions asked. We generate a lot of reviews for our clients this way. Now on the iPhone, we ask them which apps they have on their phone or where they would like to review us. So for my practice, Google, Facebook, and Health Grades, a person would click on Google and they would be taken right to the Google page and they would be able to write a Google review again on their phone. If they pick Facebook, it opens up the Facebook app as long as it's installed on the phone and they would be able to do a Facebook review. Same thing for Health Grades, and you'd be able to do it that way as well. We also have a feature that allows us to cross-post reviews to social media channels. This is a post from Google that's now on my Facebook wall. I also have a Twitter feed, and these are reviews that are tweeted out as well. And we do have a number of what we call widgets or interactions with our websites, so we can put the reviews directly on the website, showing them from the actual sources they come from. So we'll have Google reviews and Facebook reviews actually on the website, showing the sources and the logos from Google and Facebook on my website as well. So we work with the webmaster for you to get the reviews on your website, so they're coming from multiple sources, not typed in by your webmaster and just appearing like John Smith or JM wrote this, which don't have as much credibility. So step 3 is monitoring, moderating, and protecting your online reputation. So we're now able to monitor it. So we actually send you review alerts, and we want to make sure we're making sure that you understand what reviews are coming in and protecting you from bad reviews. okay? Because honestly, we don't want you to have problems online. So this is a review I received. I went to Dr. Tau as a new patient. This is from 2013. I didn't have a good experience. He seems very money hungry. He told me that I had all this work done, and when I didn't, I needed my fillings replaced because my children could be born with disabilities. Of course, I didn't say that. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I can't respond to this. Anything I would write wouldn't make any sense, okay? I also have to be very careful nowadays with HIPAA. You're not even supposed to acknowledge that they're a patient. Just be very careful here. So when you do get a negative review, what are you supposed to do? Okay, so first thing is don't panic, okay? I want you to calm down, take a deep breath, and hold it for about 20 minutes, okay? Well, no, not really. Just relax. I don't want you to get angry and respond, which a lot of dentists do. A bad review is not a big deal, okay? So actually, I want you to keep calm, and as Dory says, just keep swimming, okay? It's not the end of the world. A bad review may spoil your breakfast, but you shouldn't allow it to spoil your lunch. I don't know what lunch is, but it should be on it. Don't spoil your lunch, okay? Honestly, we all will be getting them. We're in dental, as we say. I like to say we're in dental practice, not dental perfect. You know, we're supposed to get bad reviews. People talk about many different things online about us. They talk about a lot of things about the patient experience, which are a lot of it's under our control rather than the dentistry itself. They talk about running late. They talk about money issues. They talk about the rude receptionist more so than anything else. So these are all fixable, but like I said, don't worry about getting a bad review. So if you do get a bad review, it's not the end of the world. We can't please everyone. The best defense is getting more positive reviews. Okay, that's the best defense of anything. It's just get more positives. And that's what BirdEye allows you to get. You will get a ton of positive reviews. Use the feedback constructively, because honestly, if they tell you, you know, I work with a lot of dentists, over 4,000 of them, and a lot of them call me like, what should I do about this bad review? And I tell them exactly what I'm telling you here. Get more positives, you know, but one of them, they had gotten about 13 of the bad reviews were from the front desk person. And I said, you've got to look in the mirror and decide what you want to do. And, you know, finally he decided to let the front desk person go, because every single one of them was that she was like a robot. She was rude. She wasn't nice on the phone. So, you know, I say there's a truth in every bad review, whether it's true or not. Okay. But do not write angry rebuttals. Do not write angry rebuttals. So if you do have a bad review, do you respond or not? And I usually poll the room. Unfortunately, I can't poll you because I can't see you. But, you know, I usually get a mixture of whether you would respond or not. You know, a couple would respond, a couple said it would depend on the review. So I don't like responding unless it's on a social media site. If you do respond, you should say you're sorry that you had this experience. Please contact our office, you know, to discuss the matter. Okay. This is an example of something I did. This was a number of years ago. I was actually at a black tie event with my wife, and this was a patient who was in the office that same day. He basically was misquoted or mischarged, I should say. He yelled it online that he was PO'd, and it was our fault. And I got online about 30 minutes later, apologized, said that I would take care of it when I got into the office the next day, which I did. He got on himself the next day and also apologized for spilling some venom and that there was a lot of confusion. All is good. And then it started a conversation online. So this is what you want to do online. On social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, is a conversation. That's important to be part of that conversation. You don't want to ignore this necessarily, okay? But when it's on Yelp or Google, you have to be a little bit more careful. And this is an example. So this is a client of mine back in 2013. That was the worst experience I had ever had to any dentist. And these are real things I'm sharing with you guys. This is true stuff. He called me up and said, what should I do? I said, don't respond. He goes, but I want to. I said, don't respond. You're paying me for advice, don't respond. And if you know enough about Yelp, this person had 0 friends and 4 reviews. This probably would have been taken down if they just ignored it. But he goes, I want to respond. I go, but if you respond, you validate that review. So they responded, and what they wrote was nothing bad. They said, we're sorry you had this problem. We do apologize. We hope that you found a more reputable dentist that will provide you with the best care. So what they wrote was not the problem. But what it did was when you respond, it allows that patient to re-respond. And that's the problem sometimes, okay? And what the response was this, and this, and this, and it went on and on and on. So that's the problem. There was a lot more than was needed, okay? So that's why I don't recommend doing that, okay? And this was another one. So stay away, he is a sadist. Again, I told the person not to respond. And by the way, do you see where it says, was this review useful, funny, or cool? That past review I showed you has about 75 people saying it's useful. So people are reading that. That's not good, okay? So this one, again, 0 friends, 3 reviews. This probably would have come down. I told him to ignore it. But let alone, he said this is absurd, a lot of curse words in this response. You can't be angry when you respond to reviews, okay? This is what I do in my practice. So this, again, this is real for my practice. This was a patient who came in. I'm an out-of-network provider for every insurance company. I don't take any insurance in my practice. So patient came in. We got some figures from the insurance company after getting a verbal on the phone. When my office coordinator shared with me the information, I didn't think something was right, and I made her call again. Unfortunately, the patient had already started the treatment, and it was wrong. I knew something didn't sound right. She was very annoyed that we had gotten the wrong information and thought we were trying to scam her. I did not realize that this had already been posted when I called her and I told her that I would fix the problem. It was scalings. It was not a lot of out-of-pocket expenses for the practice. I told her that, don't worry about it. I want to fix your problem. Just come in. We'll do the second half at no cost to you to correct the problem. I did not realize she had done this, by the way. Well, she on her own went online and then corrected it and put 3 stars on her own. I'd rather have 3 stars than 1 stars any day of the week. So I take everything offline and do it that way. So when I get a bad review, I don't do any response online. I call the patient personally and I correct the problem. And most of the time they do it and take care of it. That's how I choose to do it. Okay. Now this one was a bad review I got on Google. The patient had not been to the dentist in 35 years and did not need an initial cleaning, needed a deep cleaning, a scaling root planing, and wasn't part of the deal he had purchased. So he left a bad review. So I called him and we spoke on the phone, and he basically said that he didn't believe it, that it was in there, but I sent him an actual screenshot of the deal he had purchased. And it says there that it's not valid in the presence of gum disease. And this is my text communication with him, that here is the copy of the voucher. And he wrote back saying that he would take the review down. He appreciated me sending it to him, and he took it down. This is how you handle this. You don't respond online. It just is better that way. There's no arguing. You just handle it more professionally. This is my recommendation. This is something I don't recommend you do. So this is a dentist who sued 4 patients for leaving negative Yelp reviews, okay? The problem with this is that they weren't even that bad. The review that was left, there was no reason to sue the patient, but what it does, it gives you a scarlet letter from Yelp, and it stays on your Yelp page for forever. So it's questionable legal threats. This is on his Yelp page when you go there. So I would not do this either. So be very careful how you go about your business. I would be very careful how you do this. So a perfect business isn't one with perfect reviews. It's one that deals with reviews and feedback perfectly. So that's how I want to kind of, finish up with things. So in conclusion, I want you to use your reviews to differentiate yourself from your competitors, and I want you to watch your patients roll in. I want you to remember that your reputation is your most valuable asset, that you do now have control. You need to make reputation a culture in your office. I want you to ask your happy patients to provide feedback about their experiences in the office. And I want you to diversify your reviews all over the internet. Now, the perfect marketing strategy has the following things. You get reviews fast. It puts yourself as a market leader. It brings new reviews in every single day. It provides you a mobile app to collect the reviews. It allows your reviews to be syndicated all over the place. It puts the reviews on Facebook, on Google, on Twitter. It allows you to put reviews on your website on all those different sites. It allows you to do surveys and feedback pages. And in my opinion, it actually develops your practice it gives your practice a reputation culture, and it kind of puts your team on alert that people are watching them and reporting on them and putting them alert that they're being watched, because any review could be about them. So, I mean, my practice has been collecting reviews from patients for 10 years, even before it was a thing that it is now. And my practice knows, my team knows that it's a very important part of what we do and how we market ourselves. And I don't do much marketing anymore because I don't need to. I get about 40 new patients a month from the reviews that I'm getting. And everybody, when they come in, we always ask them, how did you hear about us? And it's normally, a friend referred me, or I did a Google search and you came up. And why did you pick our office? Because you had these great reviews that people have written about you. And that's the point, is when you use a product like BirdEye, we will get reviews from you quickly, easily, and fast. And when you ask your patients how they found out about you, they will tell you, if they aren't telling you right now, they will tell you that the reviews have caused them to call the office. I always also want to point out that we will get them to call the office. What happens when they do that is up to you. If you don't have a great gatekeeper, as I like to call it, that's a problem that you have to solve on your own. So I love to also tell you, reputation leads the way. And that's the most important thing. Like I said, you have to do it for your practice. Even before you develop a new website, reputation will get you more visible and credible. Then you put your new website out there, and that's when the new patients will roll in. So I don't like to say if anybody has any questions. I like to say let's chat about it. So if anybody has any questions, I haven't been looking at the Q&A, but I'm sure Janelle can let me know if anybody has any questions, and I'm happy to answer them. Janelle?
Yeah, thank you. This was really incredibly informative. I'm sitting here writing notes like mad. So one of the questions is, I understand what you're talking about, not responding to negative reviews. And I think that that's really helpful, but I think it's hard not to in the minute when you're upset about it and things like that. So understand, take a 20-minute deep breath. But you talked about, like, if there's something that keeps coming up, like a front desk person, and if you get multiple negative reviews about that, if you do address the situation, would you then recommend writing something that this has been addressed?
Yeah, I mean, if you see that there's a continued concern and you dealt with it, it's okay to say, thank you for pointing this out. The issue's been dealt with. We appreciate the feedback you provided us. I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I don't like people to be angry when they write a response. I think that's the most important thing to take away from this, is that if you are angry, then you're going to find that you've got a lot of people, you're going to hurt yourself more than you're going to help it. And that's a big deal. If you're angry and respond, you're going to see what it causes online. So I think taking a deep breath or just thinking about what you want to do, or I think you'll be better off. But yeah, if you handle the problem, and say, we appreciate everybody's feedback, but this problem's been handled. We've taken care of that problem. I think that's a fine response. But also when you respond, just be careful with HIPAA. There's a lot of people out there that don't wear it. And I should have shown some examples, but there are people you really don't want to acknowledge nowadays that there's a patient. They're even a patient now.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. So.
Okay. So we have had a couple questions come in from the audience, and one is, how do you quantify the value of reputation marketing? Is there an ROI you can point to?
How do you quantify the value of reputation marketing? So it's hard because, I know because, when I teach, I get this question a lot from the doctors that I work with personally. And I always say to them, the value of a new patient, okay, in dentistry is somewhere about $1,800 to $2,000. That's the value of a new patient. Some are going to be a couple $100s for exam and cleaning and x-rays. Some are going to be, a few $1,000s because they need a couple of crowns, and some are going to be even more than that. So, when I'm generating reviews and I know how many patients mentioned to me that they found me because of reviews, that's where I'm getting my reviews. that's where I quantify things. And I know a client of ours had like 2 or 3 reviews online, and then after a few months he had 27 or 28. And the month number 3, he got 6 patients who said, hey, I saw your reviews and that's why I came in the office. That's what he was able to quantify. And from those patients, he knew exactly what he got from those 6 patients. So he knew he was far and away so much more valuable than what he even paid for the software. So I mean, that's how you just have to ask. You have to ask your patients, and I'm very involved in that new patient experience in my practice. So I ask, hey, how'd you hear about us? And we have things, how'd you hear about us online? It says, online or internet or Google. And then I take it the step further is, where or how or why. And at the bottom, it says, where did you hear about us? And there's, YouTube videos, Facebook, Google reviews, and that's circled more than anything else.
Great. And one of the other questions that came in is, do you have to log into the software very often? And who in your practice manages this? And what do you see mostly with customers?
So do you have to log into the software very often? No, this is I like to say it's set it and forget it. So once it sets up, you don't really have to do anything at all with BirdEye. So the process is, when you sign up, we set up an onboard date and time. Normally that's done within 2 business days. So that's how fast we get it done. So it's about an hour installation, and we just install a piece of software that communicates with your practice management software. There's a minimal training session. We can always train you more, but it's not necessary. The offices that want to be more involved, they can be. There's no problem. There's a very, very heavy statistical analysis dashboard, as we call it. It has so much information. We can tell you what patients open up the text message, if they clicked on certain things, if they didn't open up, we can tell you that as well. So if they got the message in the last 30 days, we'll tell you that as well. So you don't have to log in if you don't want to, but yes, you can. And in my practice, I obviously manage a lot of this because it's what I do. But my front desk has access as well, but I do most of that managing. And most practices, the front desk or the office manager has access, but the dentists are involved, because when I teach it to them, I say, this is something that I want you to get involved. They get an alert when they get a review, and a lot of them say, hey, Len, how do I handle this? And I usually respond very quickly to them as how I would handle it if they need some help there.
Okay. And then how does the integration with your EHR work? Is everything automatic?
So he's saying the electronic health record. So
Yeah.
So it depends on which EHR they're talking about. We have obviously lots of integrations. So it would depend on which one, but I mean, everything's automated with most of them. There's some we don't work with, and then we have a lot of other ways to get reviews. We have a manual method. There's some other ways using what's called an SFTP upload. So it's very flexible, our system. So if they have any specific questions, they can always reach out to us, and we can show them how that works.
Sounds good. A follow-up question to the one we just answered right before this one is, since you don't log in very much to the dashboard platform, do you receive reports from it, or a dashboard review, or something that you're reviewing frequently?
So I'd probably want to ask that person. I would ask them to follow up with that with another question, but I don't know what reports he's looking for, because they get reviews back. They'll get a text and email when they get a new review. So I don't know what specific reports they need to know. That's really what I'm focusing on. So I don't know what what that person wants to know. I don't really log in to look at reports. I just want to see what reviews are coming in. But if they want to see, how many positive reviews they have versus how many negative reviews, I like to respond. One of the nice things about our platform is, if you want to respond to a review, you can respond in our dashboard, and it goes right to Google or Facebook or wherever the review is left. So I think that's a really nice feature that we have. So it just depends on, we don't send reports on a regular basis, but I don't know why. I don't know what reports they would want.
Okay. So if you have a follow-up question about that, you can definitely write it in, but I think
Yeah.
that answers the question here. So what about a question here on Yelp? Can BirdEye help get reviews on Yelp?
We can. We're able to. One of the things with Yelp is Yelp does not want us asking our question, which is, would you recommend us, or how was your experience at our sentiment screening? As long as that is not asked, we're able to get reviews on Yelp as well. There's no problem with that. I'm in Philadelphia, and in Philadelphia, Yelp is not a big player. There's not a lot of Yelpers. And so on that topic, I'll give you my 2-minute spiel on Yelp. Unless you're in a big city that has, San Francisco, or most of California, put it that way, New York, Chicago, Miami, something like that, Yelp is not a big player, in my opinion. I've done studies on this. And unless you have a patient who is active, an active Yelper, most of Yelp's reviews are taken down anyway. And I don't want I don't want my patients wasting a review. So I just decided that I'd rather take my go-to strategy is to dominate on Google. And I'd rather have 250 or 300 reviews on Google, because that's gonna take me where I need to go. I'm gonna be at the top of the searches, and I'm gonna get so many more patients that way. So I've taught that way. And Google, when someone searches for your practice, Yelp is going to show up in those search results anyway. And patients don't go to Yelp to search for a dentist. They may search for you and just look you up. I have a different go-to strategy.
No, that sounds like a solid strategy, focusing on where people are searching on Google. So what differentiates BirdEye from other online reputations or solution providers?
I mean, there's a lot of them. It depends on, if he had any, I would want him to, again, follow up. If he had any specific ones, I would like to know. If there's any ones that he wants to know specifically. Some of them just generate reviews. I'm familiar with all of them. I've done my research. I know all the players in the game. Most of them are just review generation products. Some of them are 2-step products. They require the office to okay the review before. Thank you. I see the ones you're talking about. So they require multiple steps to get the review on those sites that matter. They don't focus on the same type of text messaging. These specific ones are not integrated with the practice management software. The whole process is different. They don't have they're not very dental specific like we are. We have a huge dental background. There's a lot of different factors there. We have a 1-page microsite that ranks incredibly high. So we're an aggregation tool as well. We're not just a generator of reviews. We're an aggregator of reviews. So there's a lot of different factors out there. I know every product out there, and yes, I do work for BirdEye, but I don't think there's a product in the market that comes close to what we can do from an overall package value. And I'm happy to help and show demos and go into a little bit more detail, but I don't think there's a product on the market, especially the 3 that he pointed out to. I don't think those don't touch us anywhere nearly as much as we do.
Great, thank you for sharing that. And then just to follow up on the reporting question, so I think that they were looking for information on like the conversion rates. You talked about the email versus text, or the MMS messages you're sending, review frequency, and then patient experience information. Is that just all as you're looking at it through the dashboard that it becomes that you can see it?
Yeah, that data is not going to change like all that much where you need to check it all the time. I look at it once in a blue moon, and I just check if you said hey, your patient said your good friend, you wanted to do a review, you don't see it come up, you can actually go ahead and check and see if she wanted, you did it, you can log in and check if she wrote the review or she clicked on it. That's easy to check. Conversion rates don't change all that much over time. It's not a huge difference there. But it's a very easy, you have it on your phone too. That data, we have a mobile app, so the data's on your phone. You can log in and check it very easily. But all that information's and I say it's on the palm of your hand when I say we have a mobile app. So I think I would say, I think ultimately we have in our pipeline, we have a a way to be able to send reports to people. I think it's an important thing to do. So I think that's something that we're going to set up and be sending out, because I think it's good to be telling our clients what we're doing for them. So I think that that's something that's in our roadmap to be done.
Sounds good. Well, we are at the top of the hour. I hope that you all enjoyed this. I found it a very engaging conversation and lots of information shared. As I mentioned at the top of the presentation, we will be sending out the recording within the next 48 hours. I appreciate you all taking the time to join us today, and thank you very much for presenting for us.
My pleasure.